This is MassX with a brand new Yu Yu Hakusho Slugfest video, and we are going to be talking about what? Well, pretty obviously what's on the screen, assist equipment. Why? Because this is a way to really either further progress very efficiently for your account and push it farther than many other ways in the game, or the polar opposite, if you do it wrong and approach it incorrectly, really push and put your account behind. So it is quite important. So let's talk about this. I'm sure everybody's already familiar with it, but I want to get into it as you progress further in the game. Now, you might not be nearly as far currently as this account is, but you're going to be getting there, and that's why these hints, discussion, tips, etc. need to be discussed so you're aware when you get to where you're going in this game. Well, we can go ahead and go through here, and let's pick the lowest ones I got. It looks like a 2-star here. So looking at the 2 stars, this is when you begin to get the percentages, and I believe it starts in the purples. But before that, you're not going to have those percentages. And when you pull on this each day, you, of course, when you pick if you want to keep or not the particular assist equipment you got, the computer system will tell you, the game, whether that's a smart move or it will just go ahead and salvage it. So that's easy up until you get percentages. Why? Because percentages change everything. What the percentage says and what it does makes a huge difference on how you're building your teams and your team comp. If you are building a more tanky team, then you may be focusing on those items that you really need, such as damage reduction as this one. Or you may be going more offensive, or maybe a team that needs lots of crit or hit rate. So that's what your focus is going to be on. Now again, on the simplest scale, if you get a new purple one and the percentage is higher and most of the other stats are, then early game you're going to want to take it. But when you start to progress farther and you have less and less choices and you get to the higher ones, you need to consider what your team needs and what's going to push them further. So again, when you get to a 3-star, okay, you're going to notice the percentages do start to go up more. Everything goes up. You know, dodge rate, which is a phenomenal one. In my opinion, in this game, crit rate percentage, great. Dodge rate, great. Those two I'm always want in most cases because they will always do well for most. Dodge rate really can become highly good. Hit rate behind that. I personally stay away from the more tankier stats unless that's my only choices. Then of course you want to take them because it's going to help. But for the teams that I build, I have a very crit centric teams, so crit rate, crit damage are always high on my list. And this becomes more important when you start to push into the level 40s. Why? Because then you are going to get the next level up, and these are the yellows, and there's 2 percentage rates on there. So this becomes even more crucial to make the right choices for your team comps that you're building and what's going to help them out the most, as well as what will further your count the best. And why is important? Because it gets very difficult to get these yellow ones. Just looking at the percentages at level 43, it's 0.26%, less than 1%. I can go days, you know, because normally I think I acquire somewhere around 50 a day for free. So I can go days and days without getting a yellow one. And that's why this becomes more important, because you need to make the right choices with those. Now, early on, when you get in there, it's very simple to say when you first get the purples, okay, fine, I'll make sure I have purples everywhere, because now you're just getting percentages. But then when you go to purple 2 and 3, you need to consider what those percentages are doing. If it's going to lower your total account level, is it going to further your team though? Those considerations need to be gotten. Then when you get to the level 40s in yellow, now you're going to want to fill out first, unless you get a competitive one against what you have. And that's when the hard choices come, because when you have two competing percentages as well as your flat rate stats, you really need to go and look at what it's going to do to help your team the most. Until you fill out the whole color, it's fine to just pick whatever. It's when you start to build those competing ones, and your first taste of that will be in the purple area, because then you'll have to start to figure it. Now, it's less decimating to things in purple. Yellow, it can be very decimating once you get to that point. Now, I'm just scratching the surface, but I know from playing this game previously, it gets really tense picking the right ones when you start getting duplicates to an area. So start that training of yourself now in the purples, really considering what you're building. Of course, your team dynamics can change. You're going to have multiple teams, and when you have multiple teams, you want to consider what's going to be best overall for those teams. Or if you have one that is really going to be your team that is going to be highly focused on over everything else, then you want to consider that one only. If you're going a little bit wider, then think what will do the best for everything without hurting those other ones, and prioritizing which teams are going to be your most important to build. I know that a lot of this stuff is endgame discussions, but because you're starting to get those percentages now in your purples, if you've been playing this game since day one, you really need to start thinking about that and how you want to build it, because these can really push your team a lot. The assist equipments, they are great. They will do your overall team power. They will help you focus in areas that will make your team stronger on your builds, and they are very important in the game for really pushing content, especially that high level content. So don't sleep on this. Think about it when you're doing it, and make sure you're doing it. Now, one of the things, if you're not aware, is that when you do this, you can set up an option. So when you fill out all your purples, let's say you have all purples at 1 star, you can set up the filter to not give you anything less than that. Like right now, I have purple 4 star or above set up. And quite honestly, I could probably push it even higher, but I won't, because I still sometimes get a purple that I want to change out for another purple if the percentages are something I'm looking for. But that's a great way to clear out things and not make mistakes, is when you have something set in stone, like let's say you have all purple 1 stars or less, then set it to not give you anything more than purple 2 stars, etc. It alleviates your ability to make mistakes, and it makes this much quicker to go through. So just something to throw out there, just a little helpful area to talk about, because I think of people, there's a lot of different avenues as you push through this game to power up your teams, and this one I find in the long run it makes a huge difference. So with that, as always, please like and subscribe. It helps a lot. Have a great day.